Good morning. Welcome to the Alpha Pension Group Retirement Recap for Tuesday, April 14th. With me today is Rob Miles, our Chief Investment Officer, and Jennifer Sahadi, our Director of Education. So, Rob, we had a negative day in the markets, but some good news maybe this morning. What's going on?
Well, yeah, yesterday was actually, for the most part, it was negative, but there was some mix. So the S&P gave back about 1%, while the tech-heavy NASDAQ was actually up 0.5%. And then we had gold jumping to $17.17 an ounce. That's extending a post-March 19th rally where it's been up a little bit more than 17%. And it's the highest level for gold since 2012. And then finally, we have U.S. lawmakers continuing to struggle to find an agreement on an additional $250 billion for the Paycheck Protection Program. Analysts are still expecting that to get approved this week, but we'll continue to watch Washington and make sure that they get that done as that money is much needed in the community. And then finally, today's day in history was the day for Lincoln at Ford's Theater, and we all remember that.
Wow, that's a little tidbit. Yeah, and one of my kids is reading all about Abe Lincoln, so actually that's relevant to me. And what a day in history. So I'll mention that to him. Thanks. So one of the questions we're getting a lot in our office these days is about company matches and can you stop, or what you need to do to stop matches. And we did have a retirement recap talking about safe harbor matches, and there are always the details that matter here, but largely speaking, there are three types of matches: discretionary, fixed contribution, and safe harbor. On the first type, discretionary, and I'll lump profit sharing contributions in with this as well, you can stop at any time. It truly is discretionary. If you as the company have the resources to match or provide a profit sharing contribution, you can do so, but you can also stop at any time. The next part is a fixed contribution. So this is usually hard-coded and written into your plan document. This can also be stopped, but needs a plan amendment. So that's something that takes a little bit more effort, and I would contact your consultant for guidance on how to do that, because there are some nuances, probably a fee or two involved, and some timing also involved in that. And lastly, safe harbor. So this is the most complicated. It allows us to avoid discrimination testing and top-heavy testing at the end of every year. As a result, it's very restrictive. So if you want to stop one of these matches, it's not necessarily impossible, but it does take a little bit of effort. So that's certainly one of those I would encourage you to get a hold of your consultant and walk through the process. You need to make sure you do that one right. Otherwise, the ramifications could not be good down the road. Lastly, I'll mention that next week we're going to have a webinar about contribution matches, how to stop them, considerations, as well as administrative fees, trying to increase the cash flow for people that have retirement plans. So with that, I'm going to turn over to Jennifer with some really good information about what participants have been doing in the market and some bright news about how they can increase their cash flows as well.
Thank you, Rich. Yeah, along with today's sunshine, we have some fantastic news. The first comes from Gallup. It was a study of last month, a very turbulent month, and yet we found that 55% of people made no change to what they were contributing. They just kept contributing. They just kept on going. And in fact, 34% saw this is a great opportunity. I'm young, things are on sale, let's go for it, and actually increased their contribution or enrolled. So really we're seeing the tenacity of the American people and our ability to wade through these times and see opportunity, even in difficult times. The other great news is that the car insurance companies have realized that no one's driving, there aren't any accidents, and they are sharing some of the wealth by giving some money back, either in the form of credits or in actual cash checks. So what you see on this screen is some fantastic programs that most of the major carriers are offering. And you can see at a minimum, you'd get 15% back, which is a really good deal for at least March and April.
That is a good deal. Every little bit helps. My insurance company, actually, I looked when I saw that slide, isn't on there, but is giving one of those rebates. So that is really good news. Thanks so much, Jennifer. Thanks, everybody, for joining our retirement recap for Tuesday, the 14th. We will see you tomorrow.